Hello everyone, welcome back to DSP versus the Internet episode 77. Thanks for joining me. Let's continue on and see what the next random video is here in our submissions playlist. Are you serious? Could it really be what's wrong with the food pyramid? If it is, we're skipping it. No, it's not. Amazing China in 1917 in color. Oh, really? Look at this. Wow, this is neat. Now, I wonder if this is
footage from two fragments of Benjamin Brodsky's 10-reel documentary showing Peking in the 1910s.
Oh.
It is highly interesting material as it shows what China was really like over a century ago in 1917.
What they've done is they probably colorized it, they probably massively upscaled it, right? They probably ran it through AI to try to make it look better and look clean. Was this music playing in the background as he filmed? They're playing this over public speakers or something? There was a local musician standing right next to him playing this with some kind of a Chinese instrument. Very nice music.
It should be noted that the film was shot only about 16 years after the ending of the Boxer Uprising from 1899 to 1901 and 6 years after the Chinese Revolution of October 1911, during which a group of revolutionaries in southern China led a successful revolt against the Qing dynasty. This led to the establishment of the Republic of China, which ended the imperial system.
Kind of empty, right? Not a lot of people walking around. It's huge, like a huge area, but no one's moving. But I wonder if that's realistic or if this is just a result of the film. Like, I don't know how the technology works. No, because there's people moving right there, actually. Huh. What is that? Some kind of a carriage that's being moved there? I'm trying to tell what that is in the middle. I can't really make it out.
Many scenes in the film show that at the time, China hardly had changed over 1,000 years. Life follows its course almost full-time on the streets. We see everyday life with many people executing their skills and trades, children playing, artists and acrobats performing their tricks, processions, a funeral, great glimpses of the Forbidden Palace, and more.
Wow.
Text cards explain what is happening in each scene. Now please watch this film without further commentary.
The American minister. Oh, wow. Look at this. Up close. You can see the technology wasn't great. Look at their faces. Their faces are all distorted. Look like masks, right? But that's because of the technology. Even the American guy. You can tell it's AI. Yeah, the AI. What they did, they ran this shit through AI to make it look better. And the AI fucked it all up. Neat. It's neat to get... Oh, excuse me. He said without further commentary. I gotta clam up. I'm not supposed to be talking right now. Well, luckily I don't work for this guy. Rick888, whatever the hell his name is. Tough shit. Look at that. Oh, is that called a rickshaw? Is that what those are called? Where the person's the passenger and someone runs and pulls it. I think it's called a rickshaw, maybe. These are cool, man. It makes you feel like you're there, right? It makes you feel like you're really walking down the street. Fascinating. No cars back then in China. What they carry? Oh, I want to see what they were carrying. Then they changed the scene. Nice music. Alright, it was fascinating. I'm not going to watch more than that, though. That was good. Interesting. Like a moment in history, right? Well, all those people. Oh, tons of people going in and out there. Okay, let's see what's next. What the hell is this?
So many new food menu options, right? You guys talk about listening to the crowd, what they want. For you, how do you take those recommendations and get inspired to do these type of flavors? I mean, hot Cheetos and even cotton candy.
2024 Arizona Cardinals season, new menu options at the State Farm Stadium. I wonder what would be like disgusting food, right? Like really gross.
on the menu.
Oh yeah. What do you got?
Cheetos. Okay, what is the infatuation with people putting Cheetos into everything? All right, Cheetos to me were like when I was a kid. Yeah, a lot of kids liked them. I think they're okay, but for me, I prefer like the cheese puffs that have like more air to them. They seem to have more flavor, right? And Cheetos are okay if you like a hard crunch. They're just not great. But now it's like they have Cheetos flavored mac and cheese. They have Cheetos crumbles that you can put on anything. They have Cheetos flavored taco shell. They have, no lie, my wife and I sometimes get poke bowls from a local restaurant. They do poke bowls, which is like a deconstructed sushi dish. And in the ingredients you can get for the poke bowl, they have Cheetos crumbles. No, I'm not going to pay you like $18 for a bowl of raw fish and a bunch of tasty veggies and sauce, and then put fucking Cheetos on it. It's like Cheetos is like bottom of the barrel discount shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why do I want Cheetos in it? So when did Cheetos become a gourmet food ingredient? And by the way, I'm curious if this guy, what training this guy has. He thought that Cheetos was a good idea for the menu. Let's see.
Yeah, the cotton candy burrito is amazing. It's something I actually saw in Las Vegas.
The what? The cotton candy burrito? Are they sure this guy is really a chef? I think this guy might be pulling a prank. Like he walked in off the street. Like remember earlier we saw the guy who made the fake road sign? I think this guy might be impersonating a chef. And he walked in. He's like, yeah, I got all these accreditations. Let me make the menu. Cheetos in your food. Cotton candy burrito. Right? All right, let's see here.
Vegas, and I said I have to do that.
All right.
It really gets a lot of attention. It's fun. It's cotton candy ice cream, superhero ice cream.
Oh,
All
God.
kinds of candy.
Oh, God. They're going to sell that to people at an arena for sports games? Are you for real? That is fucking disgusting. That looks like what the unicorn shits out. Oh. Fuck. Would you want to eat that? Look at that. It's like M&M's, Fruit Loops, sprinkles, like goo. Like there's goo coming out, and it's all inside of a wrapped. It's cotton candy. So you know when you go to eat it, it's your whole hand's completely sticky. You bite it, and it just squirts all over your face and dribbling down your face of pieces of food. I think there's popcorn in there too, right? Like that's what you torture someone by forcing them to eat that, right? Like the spies, like you capture a spy and you need to get the information out of them for your government. You force feed that. You shove it down their throat. Like who would pay to eat that? That's disgusting, man.
And cereals and marshmallows stuffed in the middle of it.
There you go. It's a Oompa Loompa turd. It's a Smurf penis. Wow. I wouldn't go far to say that a Smurf's penis is filled with candy pieces. I wouldn't want to know about that. A Oompa Loompa turd, maybe.
It's rolled up in cotton candy like a burrito and then sliced. I think people are really going to enjoy that one.
Wow.
So let me ask you this: new season with this full new roster, who's going to be your rookie of the year?
I have several of them vying for it right now. I really have a good crew down there in the kitchen.
And from the menu items, what is a must-have that families have to grab?
Why is it that when she talks, she has to go like this with her hands, like she's doing some kind of performative art to ask a simple question about the ugly, disgusting food? What is she doing? It's the most overacting I've ever seen. What is she doing?
I think must-have, I think you have to try that. We also have a meatball hoagie on a stick. So that is 2 meatballs wrapped, and then the hoagie dough is wrapped into
What?
it.
No, come on. This has got to be a joke. This can't be real. First, we had the Oompa Loompa turd. Tell me what that looks like. That looks like 2 roasted balls, 2 roasted like bear or bull's balls with a curved dick between the 2 balls. Come on, dude. Are you kidding me? This what he came up with? No, this is fake. This guy is fake. He's not a real chef. He literally came up with this shit because he's a fucking weirdo. He walked in and they believed him because they're morons. The girl wanted to get his resume, but she was like trying to grab it, but she was doing her performative dance, so she couldn't get the resume, so she just believed him. What is going on?
And then we bake the whole thing, and then it's served with a Sunday sauce, like a tomato basil sauce. That's really
You're gonna put
delicious
sauce
and fun.
on that? How do you eat
The
it?
chicken and waffle sandwich is amazing. On the club level area,
Whoa, 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 whoa. How do you eat this? How do you eat this? It's 2 waffles with a piece of fried chicken between. You slathered the waffles with maple syrup. So how do you eat it? The moment you touch it, your entire hand is now covered in sticky maple syrup. And to make matters worse, you're in the middle of a stadium. This isn't you eating it at a restaurant where you can ask for napkins. There's no napkins. So what's going to happen? You get that, you eat it, and you go wipe it on everything. The seats are going to be covered in that shit. The toilets are going to be covered in that shit. You probably just turn to someone and just wipe it down their back when they're not looking. What the fuck are you doing? I'm not saying that wouldn't taste good. It probably would. I think that's a fried pickle on top. Personally, I've had a fried pickle before. I think they're actually quite tasty. But I don't know why you would sell that in a sports stadium. Right? Sports stadium, you want handheld foods. A burger, a hot dog, something on a stick you eat off the skewer. You know what I mean? Like things that are easy to eat. How do you tell me that's easy to eat? What do they even give you to have that? Is they put it on a plate? Like, that's a glass plate. They're not going to hand the customer the glass plate, right? This is fucking bizarre.
waffle sandwich is amazing. On the club level areas, we have
amazing.
The Southwest chicken
It's amazing they paid you to make this menu. Like
taquito, which is a 12-inch long taquito. That's
a 12-inch long. Are we seeing a pattern here? First, it was the Oompa Loompa turd or the Smurf dong. Then we had the big curvy bull penis between 2 balls, and now we've got the foot-long taquito. Why are they all? This has got to be a joke. Are you kidding me? I can't believe it. I'll be honest, that looks pretty good. Like, that looks like it has a crust on it that probably has some seasoning. It tastes good. You just got to be careful. It's not smoking hot. You bite it and you burn your whole mouth out.
Of course, the cotton candy burrito I talked about. We have a Ben's pretzel stand on club level now. One of the things I think is really fun is our Ben's pretzel avocado smash.
Ben's pretzel avocado smash. Avocado, local tomatoes, Persian cucumbers. What? Persian cucumbers? The fuck does that even mean? You got them from Persia? Who would care? Pickled red. I can't read it. It's blocked. Pickled red something. Candied jalapenos. Micro herbs and an olive oil dressing. What the fuck is this? So it's all veggie. There's no meat. It's like, it would be vegetarian, except they would never eat that because they would say it's not gluten-free. So they wouldn't eat that. So there's not even a point to having it because they're not going to like that. They're going to complain it's not gluten-free, right?
That's a fun one, and that's vegan as well.
If you talk about vegan, gluten-free, what does it mean to have these options available for the crowd now?
What does it mean to have these options available for the crowd now? What are you... They're going to tie her hands behind her back when she talks. See what she does. Maybe she'd struggle. So, what is it like to have this gluten-free options on your menu?
I think they really appreciate it. I know, believe it or not, my wife is vegan, so I know if we go out to eat somewhere, I always want to make sure we go somewhere that...
Your wife is vegan because you cook for her and she don't want to eat that shit. You made her the fucking phallic pretzel balls, and she's like, I'm not eating that. What are you, fucking insane? I'm not eating the Oompa Loompa dick, you fucking weirdo. I'm gonna say I'm vegan, then I'm going next door and I'm buying a steak sandwich because I'm not eating your gross cooking. Oh my god, dude. Alright, let's continue. Let's go to the next video. In fact, one more video, then we gotta split the part again. We're getting near the end of the show, actually. I think the next part will actually be the last part. Let's see what's next.
The fat acceptance movement, also known as fat pride, fat empowerment, and fat activism, is a social movement which seeks to eliminate the social stigma of fatness from social attitudes by pointing out the social obstacles which are faced by fat people to the general public. While many people in this group have determined and spread through social media that obesity is not as bad as we have always thought, or that science has proven.
Bad AI voice, you can hear it's cutting into itself. Like, that's not good. AI voiceovers can be done well. This is a poor one because it's cutting. It's not even finishing its statement and starting another one, right?
Many have embraced the word fat and deemed the word obese to now be a slur. Many won't even say the word in their home.
Said to me, well, have you eaten? And I said, yeah, I had some pizza earlier. And they said, you need to eat something like a bit more healthy. Now, there are a few words that I don't allow when somebody comes into my house, and healthy is one of them.
In fact, the NAAFA.
I don't let people say the word healthy. Are you a virgin? Like, do you have an aversion to health? What? What? At this point, are we just going to take every word that scares you and just take it away? What? I mean, I don't say healthy, okay? Wow. I mean, that's insane. Like, that's just, how do you run from reality, right? I can't face any kind of reality or repercussions for any of my actions my whole life, so I just ban the words outright, so that way we don't have to mention them, right? Like, okay, wow, that sounds like a way to go through life, doesn't it?
The National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance, which was started by a white man who actually had a fetish for oversized women and started the group to bring acceptance to him and his people, in hopes less people would make fun of him for his choice of women. Well, in 2022, it's ran by women, fat women. Let me just read a little bit of their philosophy. The NAAFA have contested society's stubborn generalization that associates fatness with disease and poor health outcomes, and push back against the assumption that fat people have little regard for themselves or their own well-being. They argue that thinking about obesity as a disease or medical risk, such as having severe effects from COVID-19, contributes to the stigma because it positions larger bodies as drains on an already taxed healthcare system. To sum that up, they don't like that the numbers show, factual numbers by the way, show that being obese causes taxpayers more money. They also do not like that fatness, or obesity, is connected to disease and poor health, because it makes them feel bad. I shall read on. The NAAFA mobilizes the term, in quotes, fat, in its fight against weight discrimination and fat phobia in all aspects of life, including in employment, healthcare, and education. Similarly, as social scientists, we use the term fat rather than the deeply problematic medical term obesity, which causes harm to people under the guise of benign objectivity. These groups, and what I have shown you on this channel many times of the fat activists on TikTok saying the word obese causes harm, but interestingly enough, they never talk about the harm that obesity causes. I mean, how could they? Many of them do not even believe in science when it proves obesity comes with risks. Burgess Hovar, who I'm making a video of later, has said if science does not satisfy over 60% of the population who are obese, then we should just boot it out the window. This was said in her interview with Ulta Beauty, titled The Beauty of Fatness. We now have doctors that are telling us that obesity is just a myth and has absolutely no health risks. We have doctors who write books titled Health at every size, where they say obesity can be completely healthy. Bloggers saying there is no such thing as healthy food, everything's created equal, and we should never let these white males stop us from living our lives with their racial BMI chart. Well, do you know what is starting to bring some of these fat activists down? No, it's not the use of the word obesity, it's heart attacks and heart complications. Yes, and many of these fat activists are staying silent, looking the other way and continuing to perpetuate this disgusting movement started by men that wanted to get their hard. That obesity is perfectly healthy. And honestly, it pisses me off. I will be focusing on—
So it's not AI. I thought it was AI, it's just her cuts were bad with her voiceover. Okay.
two women that were part of this movement of we should just accept obesity. Two women that I feel glorified it, at least one glorified it and changed. And two women who are now sadly no longer with us.
Wow,
two women
they
that
died?
express their opinions in different ways, but I have different opinions on each one. Let's start. If you ever go down the weird lane of fat talk on TikTok, you will find there are many very young fat talkers who are dancing around expressing how obesity has not hindered their
face of what most of us tend to believe and what our common sense maybe even tells us. But I think that the science isn't actually as clear-cut as we like to believe, and there's not really quite a consensus yet about the real relationship between weight and health.
Fat studies scholar at Massey University in Palmerston North. Her research and activism attracted controversy and, in these people's opinions, bullying from people who would constantly say, stop spreading the message that obesity is a positive condition, but she wouldn't listen. Steven Crowder, a political commentator mostly known as the Change My Mind guy, where he sets up a booth and asks people to change his mind about controversial topics.
I actually didn't even know that was Steven Crowder. I had no clue that was Steven Crowder in that meme this whole time.
Actually infiltrated a fat studies conference at Macy University. His experiment was to see if these people are so accepting to everything stupid. He decided to write a paper, say a few trigger words, and hopefully be accepted in this community. So he dressed up in a fat suit, slapped on a wig, and wrote a bogus paper to hopefully be accepted into the fat studies conference, based on a poorly written, full of trigger words paper. And of course, he had to have the Pikachu cup and the Trump/Prince must go ornaments in the back to really sell to them and gain their acceptance. And he did. They absolutely loved his video essay.
And I knew that largely because of my fat, I was guaranteed at least a certain amount of space. You may believe, wrongly as many people do, that fat is a threat to your life. But I would argue that
I'm staying quiet because I'm just absorbing it all. I do have something that I'm going to say. I'm just going to watch a little bit more. We're not going to watch the whole video. Watch a little bit more, and then I'm going to tell you my thoughts, okay?
in many ways, it may save your life. I used to feel guilty about eating certain foods or drinking certain soft drinks, but I don't. I don't anymore. Every scoop of Ben & Jerry's, or whatever your preferred food may be, I would like to see it restructured, and it should be seen as an act of resistance, not only against homophobia, but against fat phobia.
And guess whose fat studies conference this was? That's right, Kat Pazé, the woman who would rather have people feel beautiful than know the realities of obesity. A woman who dedicated her whole career to keep people under the impression that obesity is a good thing. A few weeks later, after Crowder's show aired, Dr. Pazé passed away. They did not release the cause of death, but they said medical condition, which many are theorizing that it was an obese related issue, but they don't want the exact cause getting out because of the work that she did. And many
Exactly, because if she was an activist for obesity acceptance, and then it comes out she died because she was medically obese, and it was a health complication because of that, obviously it's going to try to be contradictory towards everything that she's ever said or taught, right? Here's the thing, all right? For some reason, we are in the era of trying to flip everything to the absolute extreme, okay? Things that used to be considered taboo or awful or bad now have to be completely flipped and say that they are all incredibly good, acceptable, and great, and now need to be prominent and forced to the forefront, okay? There's many different examples of this, and I could go through them all day, but let's focus on the one here that we're going to talk about, obesity, okay? Here's what I feel. I feel that people who were obese, okay, which I'm going to say because it's a word. It's not an offensive slur. It's a word describing the body weight of someone, okay? I'm considered slightly obese because I'm 200 pounds and I'm 5'11", 5'11". It's okay. I accept that description. I think it's accurate. I do have pounds around me here that I could lose, and I could become more healthy and skinny, right? I'm not offended by the term. It's just acceptance of your limitations as a human, your shortcomings, and just like if you say, yeah, he's losing some hair. Yes, I am. Okay. I'm not offended by that. Okay. Some people are though. They can't take it when you tell them that there's something that's not peak about them, right? They can't take a criticism. All right. Now, in regards to obese people, okay, what I can say is thus: for a long time, I think there was this very over-the-top stigma against obese people, that they were not attractive, that they were not healthy, and that they were basically lazy bums, right? The reason that that person is overweight is probably because they sit around all day doing absolutely nothing but stuffing their face with bad junk foods. They don't work out. They probably drink soda, all this bad stuff. It's their fault, 100%, and shame on them, right? I think that was a stigma. That was something that was very much public association. In fact, when you take a look at market research and things about advertisement, the advertisement would always be the skinny, healthy person. It would never be an obese person that would be on that ad. It would just be the skinny model, right? That's who they want advertising the product. And because of that, an entire, grouping of people who are obese or considered obese felt left out. There's no clothes that are really made for me of a certain style. There's really no way for me to do certain activities. I'm left out of any kind of fun just because I'm overweight. Now, a couple things about that. Number one, there's different reasons why people could be overweight. And not all of them are, oh, I'm a lazy bum who sits around stuffing my face all day. There's actually serious medical conditions that can cause you to be overweight, and it's not anything that you did. It's just something that your body has essentially wrong with it. And there's ways that you can deal with that, like medications and stuff. And other times you just can't help it. All right? I know because I know people like that. And it's sad because then people give them a negative association, but they didn't ask for that. In fact, a lot of these people, they eat healthy. They can't help it. They just gain weight, okay? Now, I'm not saying that's every case. I'm saying that's some of the cases of people who are considered obese or overweight. Is it fair to them that now they be treated with this negative stigma that they're a lazy schlub who just sits around stuffing their face with Doritos? Of course not. But that's sadly what that kind of feeling was, all right? So here's the thing. I am all for acceptance, and I am all for making it acceptable to understand that you should not be making fun of someone just because they are not what's considered the norm or that they're different. If you're overweight and you feel self-conscious, it's probably because a bunch of people in your life have told you that you're fat and insulted you for it, right? Right? And if people didn't do that, then that's good. I don't think that anyone should be isolated or treated with disrespect or insults because of their physical appearance, okay? You never know what the reason is that someone looks the way they do, right? It's not their, some people, it's not their fault. So it shouldn't be. So is there acceptance? Should there be acceptance of people who are overweight? Yeah, everyone has a right, okay? Everyone has a right in order to live their life and be happy. And they shouldn't be derided and made fun of and attacked just for that, okay? However, there's a difference between acceptance and outright normalization and lying to change the narrative to something that's factually untrue. If you are obese, you are unhealthy for a medical definition. This is not a, oh, I made it up, social stigma, judgmental, making fun of you. This is a scientific designation. We have to stop with the, oh, I'm sorry that science insults you or hurts your feelings, okay? At some point, someone has to speak up for everyone and say, listen, understand that a lot of things in life can make you upset. So there's some people who are never going to grow up enough to understand that you need to tough through the things that make you upset to survive and exist. Some people just can't handle it, right? That's sad, but that doesn't mean that a society now has to change for you and normalize things that actually are not scientifically good. You know what I mean? And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to change the narrative in order to make it that being overweight is healthy. No, it is not. It is not. There is no evidence whatsoever, scientific or otherwise, that being overweight is healthy. It has insane amounts of increased risk of so many different medical things. If you could stay at the correct body weight, whatever that is, the body mass index or whatever, BMI, that's what you're going to want to do for your life, to live longer and to have a prosperous, healthy existence on this planet, the time that you have. I don't think that you're fat, people should come make fun of you. That's messed up. But I also don't think that you should say that you're healthy and misrepresent yourself and now try to glamorize and glorify yourself as something that you're not, because that's harmful. Now, what could end up happening is people think, oh, it's okay to be fat. I'll just eat whatever I want because, hey, no one's going to make fun of me for it. I have no health risks whatsoever. I'll just be, unhealthy for my whole life because, hey, they said it's okay. It's normalized now. And then you'll have people, a big epidemic of people who are unhealthy and having health issues and dying. Is that what you want? Just because your feelings? Because you have feelings. I understand you have feelings. No one should be actively trying to hurt your feelings, but you don't change all of society because a few people are sad because they can't handle reality, right? Everyone at some point has to handle reality. You can't live in a fantasy world of everything's make-believe, change the narrative to be what you want. Because it's not just obesity, it's everything. There's so many things these days that people are doing. Instead of just saying, don't make fun of the person for this, they say, now promote it and act like it's something good. No, being obese is not something good. There is no intelligent scientific person, no doctor on this planet that will say being obese is actually a desirable thing. That's ridiculous, okay? Maybe in some very fringe 0.00001% there is someone who could benefit from it. I'm not sure, but science says no. You don't rewrite science because you have feelings that are sensitive, okay? Because all that's going to happen is you're going to kill all of society. For example, the COVID epidemic, right? A lot of people who passed away during COVID, unfortunately, were overweight because that made them a huge target audience for that illness. And how can you then argue, well, then being overweight is healthy? Oops, except that when a virus breaks out, it could actually target us and kill all of us. It doesn't make sense. What you're saying makes no sense. So now imagine if everyone in the world just decided we're all healthy because we're overweight, and then we get another COVID. So now most of us die just because our feelings? No. This is crazy. Crazy talk. And, people need to wake up. Because, look, here's a fat activist, right, as they're saying, and she's dead now. Why? For what purpose did it serve, right? Nothing. She's gone for no good reason, and it's sad. It's sad that these people can't handle the world around them, and they expect that everything in the world should change. I mean, honestly, what is it? It's kind of like, it's very egotistical now. Oh, well, my feelings have been hurt, so therefore the world must change for me. Why? Why are you more important than everybody else? And I understand it's kind of the opposite. Before, you were the one who was derided. You were the one who was made fun of. So now, you're trying to turn the table. So now it's the extreme. We have to go from one extreme to the other. Either being obese is absolutely 100% awful, and you tar and feather the obese person, and you ridicule them, and you make their lives miserable, or being obese is absolutely great, and it's pride of it, and big is beautiful, and everyone, it's okay to eat whatever you want. No, neither situation is good. Both extremes are bad. In life, you sometimes have to find that happy medium, where we're not going to destroy the person for being obese, but at the same time, we're going to acknowledge it's not healthy to be obese. That's the middle ground that makes sense for human culture. But these people are so fucking infantile in their brains, they only understand yes and no, right and wrong, good and bad, black and white. There's no in between for them. You stop taking the narrative, because something was negatively seen previous, now we have to make it the most positive thing possible. No, you don't have to do that. You don't. Because it's going to hurt things overall. It's going to hurt society as a whole if you push these false narratives. Okay. Guys, we got one more part of DSP versus the internet coming up for this week. I'll see you for that.